Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Veterinary Life Coach podcast. Today, I have a very exciting guest for you, and I'm so excited. Her name is Dr. Dee Thornell, and you may know her from the TV show Dr. D, Alaska Vet, that was on Animal Planet. She's I'm so excited. She's the owner of Animal House Veterinary Hospital in Fairbanks, Alaska. In addition to being a hospital owner entrepreneur, she's a licensed pilot, which I think is so cool, author, mother, and proud graduate of Michigan State University's College of Veterinary Medicine, where she was awarded the college's Distinguished Alumni Practitioner Award in 2022 and got to give the commencement speech, which I did once too, and that's a super fun thing to do. And I just want to welcome her to the podcast and say, go Spartans. Welcome to the podcast. Yay. Go green.
But
go
we don't
white.
want to cut anybody else out either. This isn't
all the veterinary schools, right?
Right. You're all okay. Just understand we have a preference.
Exactly. So welcome to the podcast, Dee. I'm so excited to have you here. I'm just thrilled. My mom is going to be thrilled because she loved your show. So I'm sure she'll listen when this podcast comes out, but welcome.
Well, thanks for having me. I mean, this is fun. I think what you're doing is wonderful. There's something about Michiganders. We want to help people. I even notice when people come in, it's like, you're from Michigan, aren't you? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I know.
That Midwest kind of mentality, right? We're all about the community kind of stuff.
Well, and we're here. We want to help just not only pets, but people.
Exactly. Yeah, we like people.
Unfortunately, when we all were little young kids and we all wanted to be veterinarians, most of the time we said, well, kids, we don't really get along with people. We went to work with pets. The eye opener was the last year's school. It was the first time I was ever filmed. They had a camera in there. And I swear to God, I could hear everybody laughing because, you know all this stuff about medicine, and you walk in and they go, now go get the history. And you're like, you walk in, you're like, hi, why is Fluffy here today? And they're like, Fluffy ain't feeling good. And you're like, all right, I know how to do blood work and I know how to do diagnostics and do the soaps. And now what do I do? So I learned to take some interpersonal communication skills so I could extract what I need to go ahead and utilize it and understand I'm, here alone. I had a life after death experience when I was a kid, and I came back, and I honestly think I have a little spaceship and I have this little spark of life in me, and I'm on this planet with a bunch of other spaceships. We all have different things that go on in our life. So we have this little information gathering that we just have our information. And so I said, I need to expand that information to communicate better.
Right.
Yeah, because otherwise it's like the worst thing you want to do as a pilot is to get into something called confirmation bias, which means you have such limited knowledge that this is the truth. And you can even self-talk yourself into saying the plane's not going to crash when it is. So you just have to go ahead and keep the wings level and nose up and know your basic instruments and go through that. And so I've always had that. I didn't really put it in that perspective until I flew. And that's when my dad always wanted me to fly. They literally gave him the keys to a plane in World War II and said, go, good luck. Hope you land.
Wow. Yeah.
And it only cost me about $40,000, but it was worth it. You really have to be in charge of your life when you go, come on, Mother Nature, bring it on,
Right. When you're up flying a plane, there's not too many mistakes you can make. And there's not a lot of trust. You have to trust yourself.
Yeah, it's yourself. You have to fly the plane.
Yeah.
I mean, it comes down to that. The plane wants to work for you, but you're the brains.
Yeah.
And so it's like your little body is your plane. And believe me, after you've been in the air and gone through the pucker factor and understood everything that was going around and how Mother Nature can mess with you, when you're on the ground in the vet clinic, piece of cake. It's a piece of cake.
So maybe the advice is everyone in vet med should go learn to fly a plane.
But you know what? Your mind doesn't know the difference between real and unreal.
Yes.
And the perfect explanation how one time I was at a lecture and they had us all close our eyes. And then we're going up an elevator. You got to imagine this. So everybody close your eyes. You're going up in an elevator. You're going to walk out into this room. Oh, you can feel a little wind. And we're going to walk you right up to the edge of something. And then we want you to look down, and you're 180 stories up.
Oh, yeah.
Your heart rate will go up, even imagining it. So your mind doesn't know the difference.
For sure. Just when you said it, my heart rate went up.
Yeah, I mean, your mind doesn't know the difference between real or unreal, so just make sure you put real things into it.
I love
You
that.
know, you
Yeah, that's
have
great
to
advice.
wake up whenever I feel like I'm getting stressed at all. I go through the same soap. My subjective, I'm stressed. My objective, well, what can I learn, or what is my temperature? I don't want high blood pressure. I don't want that. So what you do is you go learn more so that you expand that knowledge. So you don't have limited amount of knowledge about either you or your environment. You got to remember, you have clients coming in that have a total different background.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
Michiganders don't. We get along.
We're
We
all the
just
same, right?
bond. But they're all different ways of life, and it doesn't mean they're right or wrong. It doesn't mean you're
Yeah.
right or wrong, but only you can perceive it as bad. You have
Yeah,
the right to
that's true.
change your mind. And so if you feel like something's going wrong, or veterinary medicine isn't for me, I'll tell you what, veterinary medicine, where else can you do medicine, surgery, everything?
It's so
You can
fun,
go and have
right?
a talent of everything a person will want, and you can't be afraid of it. If you are,
Yeah.
then get more talented in something. If you don't feel comfortable with surgery, take some more classes, practice it, do it in your mind. Suture at night in your mind. Well, otherwise, read a book. Don't do it when you're drinking if you have a glass of wine. Want to do this when you're awake, but
Yeah,
you can imagine doing things better. And if something really doesn't feel good to you, then you find another avenue. There are so many avenues out there to do with veterinary medicine.
I
Um,
know. I know.
I
It's such
know.
a varied profession. That's one of the things I love about it is there's so many options for
Well,
us.
I honestly think we're the chosen person.
Oh,
Veterinarians
yeah,
are the chosen people.
I
I
love
mean,
that.
where else can you go ahead? And I think we're pretty damn smart. So give
Yes.
yourself a
Well, you
pat on
have
the
to be to
back.
get through vet school, right? I never thought I was super smart, but I'm like, well, I got through vet school, so I have to be pretty smart.
Yeah, and we have a feeling, you have a healing sense if you want to do that. But don't get scared off by the environment. And
Yeah.
even workers. I went through and had like up to 20 some people, and I had three veterinarians, and went through George S. May at the time was the big people that taught me. I felt like I was at the principal's office because they were doing the financials.
Oh
So
yeah.
I
Yeah.
learned
That's
financials,
the
and
worst part about running a business, right? Is the financial part.
yeah, but you have to know that. I mean, you don't want
I
to get
know.
messed up in
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
So
I never liked it, but I got good at it for sure.
well, and I went ahead, I just got lots of training, and Mark Operman, oh God, I had his people up
Yes.
here.
He was good, right?
I got so anal retentive about how many pieces of paper toweling you use. It's like, you know how much that is? But
Yeah.
you have a work environment with a bunch of people that have gone through all sorts of different things. And so I start with, if you're even interviewing for a job, it's not them interviewing you, you should interview them. You want to know
Yes.
what their background is. What do you expect from me? Is that something you feel good? The first place I worked for, the guy told me, you will sell some kind of flea and tick product every client. You will go ahead and give them some kind of shampoo. You will give them an injection, and you will send them home with
Yep.
pills. And
Steroid injection, right?
you have 10
That
minutes
was
to
the
do it
thing.
in. And I
Exactly.
was like,
Yeah.
no.
That's
And you
not
know what I
happening.
did? I didn't know communication then. So I just got in, and I was slow. It was my first job. And I just started doing stuff. And they had them in book for 6 clients an hour. And the first few days, when it was 8 o'clock at night and people were PO'd and outside, I said,
Still had
I'm,
people
work-
waiting.
I'm working my pace. And I don't think this person needs a shampoo. Their dog has no hair. But don't get pressured by that. So interview the person you're going to work for to make sure they're not going to put restraints on you. You're the
Yeah.
veterinarian, you're in charge. And
Right.
when you allow that to happen, that's something you go, nah, that's a little bubble above your head where you're like, mm-mm.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm going to go
Kind of
find
knowing
someplace else.
yourself, right? So tell me about the near-death experience. I want to hear that. I usually ask people their veterinary story, but I want to hear the near-death experience first.
It was really unique. When I was born, I had really bad bronchitis and lungs. I was always in the hospital with a cough. I mean, I was in there for 2 extra weeks when I was first born. So I think I was about 4 or 5. I would know President Kennedy had just been shot. So because I
Yeah,
was,
yeah, that
right,
was 60, what,
yeah. It,
63, I think.
yeah, and I was so sick and I was coughing. It was the time and age where I was cough so bad I would throw up.
Aw,
So my mom, we were home. This is farm. Our family, we never bought anything. We grew our food, canned it, froze it. And my mom was out cooking dinner, and my brother was 10 years older at the time. I was the only one he couldn't make cry. I'd always make fun at him, but he was
Because
a
you were
pretty
tough.
tough dude. And so the doctor would always make house calls. So he came by and he'd shoot me up what I know now is codeine. Because I
Oh,
would cough so hard, he would come and give
yeah.
me a big shot of codeine, big shot of penicillin. And then I thought I had an allergic reaction. I think now that I know what codeine does, I think he gave me too much. And I
He
don't know if my blood
overdosed you
sugar,
on codeine, huh?
yeah, because I quit breathing.
Oh,
And,
wow.
and but you're four, and I remember
Right.
I couldn't cough, and I remember I felt like there was like an elephant on my chest, and the doctor was sitting there, and all of a sudden I was inside the doctor's brain. I mean, I could see what he was doing. I could feel what
Really?
was going
And
on.
you remember all this?
Oh yeah, it was as vivid as it
Wow.
happened yesterday. And so
That's cool.
it went ahead and it was really something. And then I was over in my brother's head. I could hear everything. He's like, I always wanted to go to the movies with him because I was young and he was just dating. And
Yeah.
he was like, I could hear him going, "You're gonna go to any movie." And I could see myself, I was purple. And I wasn't worried. And I was like, yeah. And I also
You
was
were
in my
just
mom's
like
brain. I can tell you,
observing it.
she was
Really?
making fried chicken and mashed potatoes with peas, and it's all on the stove. I could see her. And then whoosh, I went, it was like this, whoosh, and it was like this most amazing place. Like, oh, I don't have a body anymore. I can do whatever I want.
Oh,
And
wow.
it was like, it was such a wonderful feeling. And I think, Julie, you probably had a life after death experience because you had this bond with people then where you want to go, "Gotta get along. We got little spaceships we're in. We got to learn this on
Right.
Earth." But it's like, it was amazing. And then bang, I was back and
Back in your own body?
back in gasping
Oh
for air. And
my
I
gosh.
and my brother had said I had wished a few things. And I remember looking at my brother and I told him what I saw. I said, "You're taking me to the movies." And he went, "How did you know that?"
Oh, like you were in his brain, huh?
Yeah, I could hear all sorts. I couldn't have any influence on it, but it was like,
Right.
and I said, "You were saying this and that, things that he had never, that he didn't think, but I knew he did
You
that." And he was
knew.
like,
Wow.
"How did you know that?" So my brother and I were like this.
After that.
Yeah, and I
Wow.
did. You know what was amazing? He was a sophomore in high school, and I was like kindergarten, first grade.
Yeah.
He would bring home his algebra, and I did it for him.
Oh, nice. So you were like one of those genius kids, huh?
No, it was a perk for having the life after death. I don't know. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
think
So
it's
do you think your brain like kicked into overdrive when you died?
it was just easy. It was just like, wow, math is fun. I love math. I mean, I love
Interesting.
physics. I love
Yeah.
biochemistry. I was going into biochemical engineering, neurophysiology, anatomy. I wanted to explain what happened to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's
so my
cool.
brother always wanted to be a veterinarian. And I
Oh,
was
okay.
like, yeah, I got him through math, but I had a feeling that he had to let me. I
He
couldn't get.
wasn't the type that could go through vet med, huh?
But we had a veterinary clinic down the road, and he would go ahead and go there all the time and volunteer. And well, then Vietnam came, and so we all know what happened there. And I knew the day he died.
Really? So he
He was
was
in
in
the
Vietnam.
Marines.
He got drafted and went to Vietnam.
He was going to get drafted. My dad talked him into going into the Marines. Because my
Okay.
dad was a Marine and was in the World War II and said, "You're going to be a Marine." And he was put right in the demilitarized zone. I have all his letters still. He was scared to
Oh,
death, and he was a brave
oh
kid.
gosh. I can't
And
imagine. I can't
oh,
imagine what they went
they'd
through.
go out in groups of 14, and 4 or 5 times he went out there. He was one of three that came back.
Oh, oh,
Yeah, and he always wore his wallet in his pocket. The bullet went right through his wallet.
oh
I
God.
still have it. Yeah.
Yeah. So how old were you when he was killed?
I was like 10 years old then.
Oh,
We were in Kalamazoo at that point in time. My dad had been transferred. And so what happened then was I knew he wasn't dead.
oh, because you had your experience, right? So you knew he was still somewhere.
And it was like, okay, now what happens? And
Yeah.
it's unspeakable. It's just a belief that I have. And the only way I can explain it is we have a spark of life. You can call it God, you can call it Allah. I call him O, because sometimes I think these thoughts and I go, uh-oh. Probably shouldn't think those. And But I learned from them, and I always feel like there's something always like a movie camera watching. Like, and it's you downloading this. Your brain is bigger than any brain in the friggin' earth right now. So,
Yes.
and I really think I did see a lot of what went through my life. It was an instant. I was only 4 years, but
Right.
and I knew the things I had done wrong. And one of the things I'd done wrong, and I lived it when I went through that life after death. We had a big wheat field, and when I was a little kid, I'd go through the wheat fields and make houses. I was going to become an architect, I think, because I'd stack the wheat down. It looked like crop circles. And I never knew this about my brother, but the farmer came over one day and he knew my brother went to the vet clinic on the other side and he blamed my brother. I didn't know this, that he came and did
Oh,
this.
for the wheat
And
destruction that you were
yeah,
causing.
he said, you should see it in there. You're destroying my field. It's only like 10 acres, but that's my livelihood. He came unglued on my brother. I never
Yeah.
knew it. I saw it in his brain. And when I
Really?
woke up, I said, oh, you got yelled at for me doing that. And he went, how did you know that? I said, I
Right.
could feel it. And I felt so bad. It was the worst thing. I think it was like going to hell because I didn't know I did it. Didn't know I
Right.
was hurting, but I was seeing even things from that farmer of what happened because of my actions. Like
Wow.
that was like
Yeah.
you have you like it influenced a lot
Yeah.
of people. So I just had to pay attention. And I promised I tried not to get bad anymore. And if I did, I tried not to get in trouble. And and
And
I
that's your
always
boss.
learned that if I think I've done something wrong to somebody, even if I'm learning and I kind of fumble through something or I have a bad day, I
Right.
take a breath. And if I really think of closing my eyes for the last time, I'd like, I do not want to see that person in my life story when I'm dying. I want
Right.
to take care of it right now. I go and
Yeah.
apologize. We do a little dance and, I
Yeah.
was having a bad day.
And then you can let it go.
And you let it go.
Yeah.
And
So when your brother passed, he wanted to be this is the brother that wanted to be a veterinarian,
yeah,
correct?
and as long as I said I wanted to be a veterinarian, I got any animal I wanted. I was the envy of everybody. I got
Was
horses.
that because your parents were so devastated by losing him that they kind of then focused in on you and all his dreams kind of
He
went to you?
was he was the only son. He's
Oh,
my dad's only son, and
yeah.
hence I never changed my name from Thornell.
Yeah.
I've had a couple marriages, and one. Remember my dad arguing with my first ex about what my last name was, and that's when I came up with Dr. D
Okay.
because
So you didn't
she
have
could
to
have
worry about
Thornell.
that.
They were arguing over my name, and so
Oh,
I came
wow.
in with cards.
Yeah.
Dad was here for a couple weeks, and it said Dr. D.
And
Oh,
that was it. Yeah.
sorry, I got my cats fighting in
I
the
see your
background.
cats. They're cute. My dogs are always in here, so they're always welcome on the podcast.
But yeah, so I became my dad's tomboy. I mean, he taught me everything how to weld, oh God, I can change water pumps in the barn, everything. And so as long as I told my dad I would follow through, you guys knock it off. That's distracting. I mean, just stop that.
They're playing.
Oh, you gotta meet. Oh, now they're gonna run. There, that did it.
You
But
got rid of them.
as long as I went ahead and said I wanted to be a veterinarian, but everybody kept saying you'll never get into vet school. I had a counselor that went, my daughter is trying to get into vet school. She's tried
Isn't
4 times and has a
frustrating?
PhD. So I
Yeah.
thought it was safe. I thought I'll do it. I'll apply. And then I'm going into biomedical engineering and
So
biochemical
you didn't
engineering.
buy into it. You
Well, I
still didn't want to do it.
well, I did it. I liked it. It wasn't like I didn't like it. I love working with the veterinarian, but I really wanted to know what happened when I died
Right.
that one
Yeah, you wanted to
time.
go into the neuroscience.
Yeah. And so, and I just really honestly, I would try my heart out. You always do that. I tried the best I could, but I thought, they kept telling me you're not going to get it. I got in the class the
On your
first
first try.
time when there was only 3 years straight.
That's awesome.
And I was in with my counselor's daughter that had
The one
applied
that had
4
tried
times.
5 times and didn't get in.
So, but I got in and I was just like, wow, didn't expect this to happen. So, I went through, there's a couple times I said, no, this isn't for me. But
Really?
then there was a little spark in me that said, come on, give it a try.
Yeah.
Have fun with it.
Yeah.
And I have. I really do. I think the biggest thing is to make sure you go ahead and get some interpersonal communication skills so you can deal with the people.
Right.
Otherwise,
Right. Yeah, because there's this myth out there that our job is about the animals, but it really isn't.
hey, if you can't get a good history, oh my God, get a good derm case right now with they have 5 kids that are feeding them pizza crust, and you got
Right.
them on $100 a bag hydrolyzed protein, and you wonder why it doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
It's almost my husband sometimes calls me that I have the brain of a lawyer because I interrogate,
you have
and
to.
he doesn't like it because I can do it to him, but you kind of have to interrogate the clients to get the truth.
I have had to have the whole. I have people come in. I think I almost got a people in divorces because they'll come together and when they come separate, they're like, oh, he's the one always feeding them that stuff. And then when he
Right.
comes, oh, she's always feeding. And then they're both there.
Yeah.
Okay, who is feeding the dog?
Yeah. What's the truth?
It varies. Sometimes I've had the one woman look at me like, come on, stand by me. And he's like, I have never fed this dog people food. And I'm like, busted. So, but thank God for Cytopoint and Apoquil. Now
Oh,
I just,
right. Yeah, that
if
stuff's great, isn't it?
I hear him arguing, I'm like, hey, this is a simple solution. It's about $100 per month. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, you guys will be fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. So,
So,
so being kind of thrown into vet med because you didn't really choose it as a kid, like a lot of us did. What do you love about it, and why are you glad that you're here now and not a neuroscientist? Like, what's great about it?
well, I
You
never
said
gave up
some.
on the neuroscience. I still kept doing the biochemistry stuff. So I've
Yeah,
done it down to the quantum energy level. It's fascinating.
I love
You
that. Yeah,
want quantum energy and molecules and atoms in your brain and how they
yeah,
can make capacitors. And
yeah.
anyway, but how do you explain that to people? You look
Right,
like a
right.
weirdo, like, yeah, I'm going to tell you all about
No,
life
you're
after
explaining
death.
it
And
pretty well. I
yeah,
think it's fascinating.
Santa Claus is real. So, but no, I think the biggest thing I've had is I've learned the most about spiritualism almost. And I
Mm,
do it kind of weird. I went and did a bunch of studies in all the religions of the world, down to Native American across where did it come from? Where did
right,
religion
right.
come
How did
from?
it all start? Yeah.
And I play game. I love you pick and choose whatever works for you. There's no right or wrong, but whatever makes you comfortable. And I play game with animals. What kind of animal am I going to shapeshift today? And what animal am I dealing with people? And that
Okay.
makes it easier. I even ask, I believe in vision signs. The Indians used to go ahead and they had a real simple religion. If they saw a deer, it meant this. If they saw an owl, it meant that. But then I found out from some of the bigger Indian communities that the Cherokee might think this, and I'm just using it as an example, but Navajo thought that they could have wars over it. No, the deer does not mean that. The deer means this. And it's like, but that was their own thing, it just was
Right.
something like, oh, it's gonna be good day today, and then it would be a good day. And so that meant good day, or I'm gonna have something good happen to me. Ooh, I saw a raven, I gotta be careful, and so I even get down to where I ask the clients, why'd you name your dog that? And they tell me the
Yeah.
story. Well, I'm doing the physical. I get to
Yes.
know about them a little bit. And
Hmm.
if they name me, although you come up with some of these hideous names, I go Google it. What does that mean when
Yeah.
I'm doing?
What exactly does that name mean?
I'll
Yeah.
come in looking really smart. They think I'm a shaman, like, yeah, you're Google blah baga means good dog in, you know, Taiwan. I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, it's like, but you get to know those people a little bit, so it makes it more comfortable for you, so you can interact. You get
Right.
it in a name of their pet. It means a lot.
Well,
Now,
and
if
I think you get more cooperation, right? If you create some kind of relationship with your clients, they will cooperate with you more, and they'll be less likely to get angry when things don't go the way we expect. Do you think
well,
that?
and I think the big thing is you always treat clients like, how do I say it? They're people.
Right.
I think you first have to just say, these are people, they know nothing about me. I'm the professional. I can deal with this because, I got some interpersonal, and that does interpersonal communication skills. Jack Canfield was amazing.
Yes.
You can read people. Do they need something written down? Believe me, I understand why you write it on a label. Half a tablet every 12 hours, not twice a day.
Right.
People go,
Right.
I did it
Yeah.
5 minutes later. I did it twice a day. Um, so you want to go through and understand, and I can pick up in a few minutes. it takes a little bit to count. Do they want to hear it? Do they want to see it? Do they
Right.
feel good? How do you want to present it to them? And you'll just pick up on that. And even the dog's name. Now, if the dog comes in with a name like asshole, I get ready to drug it. It's like, all right. And
Yeah.
he's going like this, showing teeth,
Yeah.
better living with modern chemistry. Everybody's going to be happy today.
That's right. Yeah, for sure.
So, but I think it's a big thing. It's just you're there to help them, and there's going to be people that you just ain't get along, and they can
Right.
go
And
down.
that's okay, right? That's
They can
okay.
go to
I,
Brand X. In fact, some days I pick up the stress. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I think we need a consultation with Brand X. They
yeah.
have a really good doctor down there that does just this.
Right. Just what you
One,
need. I know
yeah,
the perfect doctor for you, and it's not me.
yes,
I love that.
and you will, but you also have to put yourself in their place.
Yeah.
What if their kid just got killed that morning
Yeah.
and you
You don't
didn't
know,
know that?
right?
Maybe
There's
they just found out they got
someone in
kicked
there.
out, they lost their jobs. And
Right.
that goes with staff too. You don't know what goes on with them. I mean, I try not to know too much. I want to know and feel for them and understand they're making a living. And,
Right.
we have to be a team. That's our focus.
Yeah.
And I try not to mingle like, hey, let's go be drinking buddies, because that gets weird.
Right.
But you have to understand, what if that you'd feel shitty if you got kind of pissed off and told those people to go, if you found out. I have had that happen where people come in and go, yeah, did you know his kid just died last night in a car accident? I'm like, "Ugh."
Yeah. Yeah.
So, just always think that maybe he just had his toast burned by his wife and he's pissed off, or she's pissed off because he didn't put the toilet seat down. I don't
Yeah.
know, but
Yeah. And some people just genuinely are not happy people. And if they just have a negative attitude, or they're pessimistic, or they've had a hard life, you can change that just by being kind and accepting and helping them
you know,
with that pet. Maybe that pet's the only good thing they have.
I think the thing to do is dance with them. If they're really cranky, don't step on their feet. You got to kind of move a little bit. Your
Yeah.
job is to keep focused, keep your life, fly the plane, get the pet
Yeah.
ready. You're not there to get pissed off at anybody. You just got to extract information and do it the best you can with whatever skills you have. I think a heartfelt, like, I'm not here to just, I didn't wake up this morning thinking I just want to see every dog and stab them with a fork. We went to school
Right,
because we
right.
love pets.
That's
And
not your goal.
so and I did it to make a living. So yeah, the girl out front wants to get paid. I do need to make a living. I do like to eat more than just top ramen.
Right.
And you don't have to explain that to them, but have that feeling that you can just say, I don't know what's going on with you today. I'm just here to help your pet.
Yeah. I
And
love that.
if my presentation to you is a little not right, you might not even have to voice that. You can pick up on it. Then you can you can allow yourself to go, not my problem. I'm
Right.
going to fix the dog.
Yeah.
They're going to walk out. They're going to have their fight tonight with their wife
Yeah.
or whatever.
I'm
But
gonna let
I'm
it
going to
go.
do the best I can and let it go.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you
That's
can't change it. What's that?
so true.
The Lord's Prayer. I'll change it if I can, and if I can't, let it go.
Right, right. I think, yeah,
You know?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So what do you think was your biggest challenge, or do you have one? Just becoming a veterinarian, working in vet med, starting your businesses, or is there something that you can say, oh, this was a huge challenge and this is how I overcame it?
I think the biggest challenge is I have to just stay out of politics.
Oh yeah, that's a good one right now, especially, right?
Well, we're pretty smart. And again, people and oh God, I don't do Facebook. I don't do that.
That's smart.
Because people go ahead and they have the right to say whatever they want to and put it out there because that is their opinion. But their little knowledge base is this, and they've got confirmation bias that says, I am right and I will kill for it. And
Right,
it's like, you don't want to get in that atmosphere. And I think the biggest challenge is sometimes when you're like getting a business, oh, go to some place to a bank. The first bank I went to with blonde hair and blue eyes, and I was in my scrubs. I went to the first one, had everything done. Perfect. Math,
right.
the first year specs. And they went, oh, can your dad go ahead and come in and co-sign with you? I'd already paid off two lines.
Oh,
And I'm
nice.
like, what the hell? Excuse my language.
That
So you
happened.
know what I
That
did the
happened to
next
us.
time? You know what I did the next time? I went to the next bank. I had the lowest cut shirt I had. And I went,
Uh-huh.
hey, I need a loan. Guy was like, how much?
Really? Oh my God. That's
Use
funny.
what you got.
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
how can I lose? All they can say is no. What
Right.
is ask, ask,
There.
ask, ask, ask. All they can say is no.
Yeah. Just keep pushing, right? Like
So
that's tenacity.
yeah. Oh, I gotta show Pepper off.
Oh yeah.
We
Show me.
have an interflecting a little dog. Snipper.
Aw, how
This is
cute.
Pepper.
Pepper. Hi,
She's a
Pepper.
snip. She's a
Cute.
snip.
She's a
I don't know
cutie.
what she is. She's a cutie pie
Some kind
brand.
of
She's a real designer
schnauzery.
dog.
Schnauzery
Yeah,
dog.
I think she's Schnauzer and Wiener.
Yeah, she's cute. Hi, baby.
She is a cutie
Where'd she
pie.
come from?
Actually, a client came in and said she was biting. She was divorced from her husband. Her son was 18, living with her husband. She was leaving town, and the dog would go with the son, who couldn't care less. He was like, "Ah, whatever." And she goes, "There's two younger kids in the new house, and she was biting them." And so she brought her in and said, "I do a temperament test." So, oh yeah, I put them through the test because believe me, some dogs you just have to look at and they go, "Arr,"
Right,
And
right.
she's just like the
Happy,
whole time
happy.
waiting. I'm like roughing her up a little bit, and she's
Yeah,
like, eh.
whatever.
And the kid could care less. And she goes, I don't know what to do. And I said, well, I'll find her a home.
Yeah,
And I said, if you really
that's
don't
how
feel
it starts.
comfortable and you're leaving town tomorrow, the next thing I know, she was in the
She,
kennel and go and
you
find me
found
a
her a home.
home.
Yeah, you found her a home.
Yeah, yeah. She kind of,
That's how we get
and
most of our pets, right?
yeah, yeah. And she looked like more pepper than salt, so she
Yeah,
looked like salt
yeah.
and pepper color. So I don't know how I came up with pepper,
It's
but
cute. It's
yeah,
cute.
but now you know my dog's name and where it came from and how I'm
Yeah.
kind of goofy and will take no, I don't take free pets. Don't send anymore.
Right, right. Don't have any of your clients bringing all the free pets to
No.
you, right? So
But
tell me about being an entrepreneur because you started your own business kind of early on, right?
well, yeah, I
Like
graduated
you
when
started out of a truck or something.
yep, I graduated when I was 22. I spent 1 year
That's
at
really young.
the place it was in Lansing at the time, and oh my God, I thought, no, I can do this on my own. And I was, I know I can live pretty meagerly. I don't have to have a lot of money to get started. So, and I always thought if I get loans, I'd do a little at a time and I
Yeah,
go and practice. But I was trained by Michigan State in the late 70s, early 80s is you're alone. You get out there,
right.
you do your job and you bucker, ride the
Yeah,
horse,
there wasn't a lot of mentorship. There wasn't a lot of you were basically expected when you graduated to be competent and just go work, right?
But I think that was the spirit that we were. They didn't want to argue with us. You got it now. We gave you all this knowledge and go use it. Go have fun with it. And
Right,
so
right.
that's what I did. And I have, we were younger then. I mean, I had been around clinics and doctors that, did spays on kitchen tables
Yeah.
and all that stuff. And our anesthetic back then, God, now I call it controlled death.
Yes, it
We
was
were
scary.
okay with it. I mean, it was fine. We dealt with it. But if I had to go back to that right now, I'd be talk about
Yeah.
pressure, you know.
Talk about stress.
Yeah, so I just started doing that, and I had good people around me. The folks, it's your clients. You gravitate to the ones that really want to believe in you, and the ones that just want to take not pay you, you don't take care of.
Right, right. Yeah. Do you think it's
And
something different in people that makes them entrepreneurial and want to be their own boss, or do you think
I think it's how you're
that
raised.
anyone can do it?
I mean, I was raised with my dad. I turned into a tomboy. And
Right,
back then, girls were just supposed to be married off. And so
right.
when I turned into a tomboy, my dad pretty much gave me free reign and always encouraged it. So I have to say my dad really, really
Made
was
you
one that
tough
was
and
like,
made you
go
confident.
for it,
Right,
you
right.
know?
Yeah.
Um, and so he was a real influence. My mom was too, because she was just such a sweetheart. I mean,
Yeah.
she would just take care. I mean,
Super
I would look
supportive.
at her like, I'm never going to be that kind of mom. I can't stay at home. I'm sorry. I gotta go. I feel like this is such a magical place, Earth.
Yes.
Go
Yeah.
play with it. I
Right.
mean, I got the skills that No doctor could go ahead and do medicine and all this testing, have their own lab, their own ultrasound. I mean, face it, look what we do. We can
Right.
go into a dog. I can look at a dog kind of weird and go, I think that's dog's abdomen looks a little big. They come in for routine vaccines, and within 10 minutes, I know he's got a splenic tumor. That would
Right.
take weeks
Oh,
if
for
we thought we
people.
had something.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
weeks or months. Yeah, it's so slow in human medicine.
I know. And so we're on the cutting edge of just being the best. We
Right.
are. I'm
Yeah.
biased. So,
Yeah. Well, yeah,
um,
we're both biased because we love vet med, but it's absolutely true.
yeah. And
Yeah.
if people don't find it, then what they're doing is they're putting themselves into something like what do I want to call it? The confirmation bias. I
Yes.
don't like vet med anymore. Well, that's because
Right.
you haven't really changed your kaleidoscope of point of view and just change your attitude, get more information in, and don't allow this spaceship to do anything but positive for you. I mean,
Yes.
it wouldn't matter with a person that goes, I don't like this job. I don't think they'll like any job. They have to figure out who they are first and how to open up and let loose. You got to have
Yes.
this is my favorite saying. Humor is the oil in the engine of life. And if you
Mhm.
can't laugh at yourself once in a while, even afterwards, oh my God, I did one of the worst things one time. And I did it serendipitously. So have you ever watched The Rat Race, the movie?
I think so. Yes. I
You
think
know
I
where
do.
they're all running.
Yes.
Whoopi Goldberg was in
The
it,
movie,
and Kathy
right? Yeah.
Bates. It's
Yep.
where they're in Vegas and they all get these special coins, and then they
Yes,
all
I
have to
remember
get to
that.
someplace in Arizona to get the $1 million. And there's a bunch of
Yeah.
guys betting on who's going to win, and they're watching them all. And
Right.
Kathy Bates is along a road in Arizona, and Whoopi Goldberg and her daughter, I forgot the actress's name, are driving to get there, and they get lost, and they're in the middle of nowhere. And here's Kathy Bates. She goes, "Oh," and she's selling squirrels. "Hey, what am I asking you nice girls want to buy some squirrels today?" And Whoopi Goldberg's, "No, I got to get here." "Well, come on, Bob, here's a real nice, he's house trained." "No, we need to know how to get out of here. We're lost." So Kathy Bates, and I could tell Whoopi Goldberg is a writer because she's like, "Well, you just go down the road 1.2 miles and then you blah, 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 blah," and blah, gives exact, directions. And they're going down the road going, "Oh, that woman was so nice." And she said, "You're sure you don't want to buy a squirrel?" "No, we don't want those. We just want to go." And they're like, "Oh, this is so great." And they can see the highway off. And so they're speeding up and they go launching off a cliff and land like in a junkyard of a bunch of cars.
Oh
And
my
it says up there, "Should have bought a squirrel."
God.
And what happened was that's our joke around the clinic.
Yeah.
But sometimes you tell people, I had a lady one time, a 100-pound lady with a 150-pound Rottweiler. Don't ask me, why would they put huskies in harnesses?
Right.
So they
Right.
pull.
So they
And
can
so
pull better.
everybody's,
Yeah.
yeah. And so I heard her, oh, it hurt me. I heard her rotator cuff pop. The
Ooh.
And oh, she was
Oh
screaming. I was screaming.
no.
The dog was freaking out. I couldn't get it off her wrist.
Oh
And
Lord.
so I saw that. And so after that, I felt, I'm kind of responsible here to kind of step in when I see these women getting and a couple come in and go, "Yeah, I've been pulled down. I've been to the hospital, broke my ankle once." So I would voice myself, probably was on
Right.
Facebook for this, because I said, for 100-pound ladies, those prong collars are called um, equalizers.
Right.
There's nothing you can do to hurt a 100-pound dog with that collar,
No.
but say,
No, not
"Stop."
when you're lighter than the dog, right?
No, this is terrible. This just happened. Nobody says nothing like this happens twice. So I went ahead and I told another lady came in, similar situation. I said, I put a prong collar on a dog, and I'm like, "Sit, stay." They're like, "Yep, okay, yep, nope,
No
I'm
problem.
fine."
Yeah.
And and then the next time she comes in, no prong collar, harness. "Well, everybody said it really
They're
hurt him."
cruel. Yeah.
Okay, you know what happened to her? When she was going out the door open
Again, the
again.
same thing. Oh,
And the only thing that out of my mouth, I said, "Should have bought a squirrel," because she didn't pay attention.
right.
And she in her mind, thank God, was like, "I know they're so much smaller." And the girls behind the desk, because I always say that once I don't say I
So
told you so.
she didn't
I
get the
always go,
peek.
"You should have bought a squirrel." I saw my one staff, she blew coffee out of her
I bet.
nose.
I bet.
And you couldn't because it was a real sincere thing. I mean, this lady
Right?
was hurting. And I'm
Yeah.
trying, once again, trying to get the Rottweiler off her wrist and
Oh my gosh.
calling her husband, you gotta come get her because she's
Yeah.
a mess.
Oh,
And I think she almost subluxated. I mean, bang, that dog
oh
just hit the
wow.
end.
That's horrid.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I
A lot
mean,
of
I don't
interesting
know.
things happen, right? In vet
Well,
med.
you try and do stuff like that to be
Yeah.
nice, and it's like,
Yeah.
can't fix stupid. I don't know.
Yeah. So you're a mom and you
I
raised
am.
your son, right?
Yep.
You raised your son while you were running your hospital?
Yes.
So
Yep. Yep.
tell me for the moms out there that listen to us, because there's a lot of veterinary moms, right? What advice do you have, or how did you do it, or how did you avoid feeling guilty, or all the things that they always try to put on veterinarians working in vet med, raising children?
I think the big thing is spend a lot of time with them. And my son, I live here. And I have to admit right now, mine is not the perfect mothership. What happened, and it was outside my realm. When he was a senior in high school, his top 10, he was going into engineering, petroleum engineering, and he got in a
Yeah.
car accident where
Oh,
a
sorry.
girl was swirling and he got hit head on in the middle lane to avoid her. It was the first snow.
Oh,
It was a
no.
terrible, terrible thing. It was a judge's daughter,
Yeah,
and the judge was
that's
there and trying to get
horrible.
my son a ticket. Well, they
Yeah.
missed a compression fracture at T13.
Oh, no.
And so he started getting kyphosis and all sorts of problems. And so we had, and now about 6 weeks later, they caught it and tried to put him in a back brace, but it didn't work. And so he tried
Boy.
to do school here, went to college down in Scottsdale because we were going to go to the Mayo Clinic.
Yeah.
And but they were in the middle of a lawsuit, and
Oh,
Mayo wouldn't look at him until the lawsuit was over. So he went out and got his own doctor who promptly put him on 180 milligrams of Oxycontin 3 times a day.
I'm so sorry. That's awful.
10 years later, 7 years, well, and we had to go through, he had to have spinal surgery to have it fixed at USC. Mark Spoonamore, he was great. I did all the research. He shored him all up. Of course, he was high on drugs, and at that point in time, they're trying to take him off. He was going
Right.
to the streets. It was
Yeah.
terrible. And
It
I
is
was like, who
horrible.
is out there that can tell me what just happened?
Yeah. And how
Don't
can
we
I
come with
handle
a
it?
little tag that says, when your kid gets on Oxycontin, do this?
Right. What do you do?
There
Yeah.
isn't.
They don't come
And
with prescriptions,
I
right?
did everything. I mean, and I'm one that goes to learn. What do I do? And they're all like, ah. And then you get people shunning you, like, oh, your kid's on drugs. And
Right.
he
Right.
turned into a
Which is
shit.
so unfair. Yeah.
It's very unfair. And
Yeah.
without going into too much detail, 7 rehabs. Oh, and anybody out there, and I know a bunch of them out there, you just have faith. And I'll tell
Yeah.
you what worked. I could not be nice. It turned into a
Yes.
mean dog. And he had to be here, and I did all the things. Oh, let him go on the street. Yeah, I did that for about 6 months. I couldn't eat, sleep, or do anything.
Yeah.
Um, I had 7 rehabs, over $1 million, half my retirement, because the
Oh my
insurance
word.
quit paying after a
Right.
million.
Right. Oh,
But the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. So,
yes. Yeah.
but jail worked.
Really.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I
How
don't
hard?
know.
Yeah. That must have been really hard to let him go to jail.
Well, he got himself in a situation, and it was more of this really bothers me a little bit
Yeah.
because
Oh, I'm
I'm
sorry I
very,
asked this question.
no, no, no.
You
I
don't have
want
to
people to
share if
know
you
this.
don't
This is
want
part
to.
of the reason I didn't like how Animal Planet, because I was doing that. I said, people, this is the reality. Why don't you show this so they know they're
Oh,
not the only ones out there going through this?
yeah, that are struggling. Yeah, we all
Yeah,
struggle,
I mean,
right?
it's something you have to do, but
Right.
and he did, and he could have been him killed, but a kid came after him in a room he was staying at. They were trying to rob from him, and the cops went there first
Right.
and took all. He's like, Mom, they're here stealing from me," and he was high. And I
Yeah.
said, "Call the police." The police went there,
Right.
took his weapons away, left
Oh,
him there, and then the two that were stealing from him came back, 2 machetes, 3 knives.
oh, no.
Came in, busting all the stuff. One of the ladies that was in the apartment place, said that the kid almost killed my son, was strangling him, and she went down and got him off him.
Wow.
And then he was trying to get all his stuff. He had big duffel bags with all his stuff in it. And he
Yeah.
had some new stuff, and he was trying to jerk it off their arms, and the guy was kind of going down the sidewalk. He turned around and took the machete and threw it at my son. And
Oh,
the handle caught him right here.
Oh my Lord.
And so he kept saying it was in his head, but I don't know. Anyway, that he threw a machete at my son. My son had no weapons.
Right.
And Jesse, and he was stoned on whatever. He
Whatever.
took the
Yeah.
knife and was trying to cut the straps off the duffel bag. And the guy walked right in on it,
Oh no.
went right into his heart.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, we've had some real go-rounds. I don't suggest that ever happen. I mean, somebody lost their
Right.
life over it. Not that he
Yeah.
didn't set himself up for that, but
Right.
I tell him he could have been the dead one, and he's got to live now forward for that fella and show him that he can be brave. And for
Wow.
me, I'm sorry, Oxycontin and the all the crack and all that stuff, they have to be
Yep.
off those drugs for 3 years, and you can't afford a rehab.
Right.
And plus
For
rehabs,
three
one
years.
of the times he was in the halfway house, and the guy running it gave him more drugs. We were right back at day one. And
Yeah.
so, the jail worked. And but I don't know what the answer is. I know
Yeah.
how I got here because I had 3 weeks in intensive care with the back surgery there. I I researched it, and let's just say I'm not really a big fan of Hillary Clinton, who lied.
Oh, okay.
And I'll leave it at that because I
Yeah.
know who let that drug come in.
Right.
Who
Right.
passed it.
Oh,
And we're filtered too. But anyway, so
well,
you
that's
opened
a
a can of worms. But
hard
no,
story. Yes, I did open a can of worms. I didn't know
but
any of that.
he's getting out, and he's going to be here on an ankle bracelet, and
Gonna
I'm
be
using a
okay.
parole officer, and
Yeah.
I'm going to treat him like my dad treated me. Don't I'll call your parole officer, and you will be right back, and you're getting drug tested. And I'm
Right.
going to
Right.
try and keep him focused to say, you have a life to live now,
Yes. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
try and be and
Learn from
we
your
can take this
mistake.
up in a year from now because he gets out in a couple months, and he's
Okay.
the best he's sounded for years. Are you kidding me? He went to jail. He's a chess champion at jail.
Oh,
He
really?
learned chess. He learned how to play the guitar.
Oh my
And he
gosh.
goes through, he's got workout. I mean, it sounds
Yeah.
like the perfect retirement home, personally. So I told him, if you
I don't know
don't
if
turn
I'd
me
recommend
around,
that, but
I'm
yeah.
going to kill you, and I'm going to the retirement home.
Right, right. Yeah, for sure. Oh my
So,
gosh. Well, I'm glad he's getting out and he's doing well.
no,
That's
he
a good
is.
end of
It
the
was
story, but also a good thing to encourage other people that are going through really hard things because I can't imagine what you went through during all that
It's
time. And
terrible. And if
yeah,
anybody out there is doing
kept your
that, you can do it.
attitude.
Don't deny it. I had another colleague of mine that was a veterinarian, and he was doing some computer work. He's a specialist in that. And I remember, oh, my son's just so perfect, and he's going to music school, and he's doing this, and he's doing that.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
music school? And the next thing I know, he called, and his son had died of an overdose.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, wow. And he said, I didn't even know. I didn't pay attention. So, you know, look them in
Nobody's
the
perfect,
eyes,
right?
find out what it is. I
Yeah.
mean, we started an opioid group through my son. There's a new thing called the bridge device that you can put on their ear. It takes about probably 90% of their withdrawals away. It takes two of them to
Really?
get through it. That really helped him get through the withdrawals when he was really coming off from it, most of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's a lot of other things, and people can contact me if they want, but don't let it get you down. It happens.
Right.
It's life.
Yeah, life is hard, isn't it?
And they would only challenge people that, you only get challenged by if you can stand it. So you're pretty damn strong if your kid gets on drugs,
Well,
because
it sounds like you've
somebody
been
up there is
pretty
saying
damn
you can do
strong.
it.
Yeah, yeah. So
You can
tell me
do it.
about the TV show. You mentioned that a little bit. Tell me how that came about and how it was, and if you liked it or didn't like it, or what you thought about it.
Well, it's hard to say how it came about. I was writing screenplays. I actually was doing it. I started writing when my son was in the hospital for 3 weeks, and I was in LA. What else do you do? Oh, okay, take
Okay,
a
so you
screenwriting
needed
class.
something to do. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I was doing that, and I got to tinker in with some of the productions that were happening here. And I don't know, they were looking for somebody through Animal Planet, and they went to Sitka first. And that guy said, "No, you don't want me, you want Dr. D."
Oh, really?
I had that reputation already.
Yeah, yeah.
And so they came, and it was reality. And I wanted to be, real,
Yeah, you didn't want
and
to fake anything.
are you kidding me? I was kicking people out of my son's apartment one night. We were filming the next day at 6, and I told the camera guy, you want to see some entertainment? We're down there like guns and screaming out things. Get the
Oh
hell
my
out of here,
gosh. Yeah.
I'm like, and so people could see that we're real. That's
Right.
real.
Yeah, that's
You
real life.
know, and this isn't just like, oh, I'm a frilly face with little curls in my hair, and I just go to
Right.
work. And here's my little
Yeah.
lab coat, and this is how
Little
you do
animals. Yeah.
it. And but no, they just were doing things like was really stressful. First off, they want to make the money, and they don't care if you don't,
Okay.
because their goal is they don't even have to have a set. They don't even have to hire an actor. They
Right.
can just
Right.
use
Yeah. Because
you.
it's real life. Yeah.
And they kind of call it vanity, I think, that they play on that and say, hey, we'll give you a little cash. Well, I lost $250,000 the first year and 350,000 the next
What? Really?
because they would not pay. I said, I'll do it for the first year, I'll eat it, but the next year you better start paying because I can't
Right.
take. I see 20 patients a day. I can't see two,
Right. Right.
you
Yeah. You
know?
can't film all day and just do two cases. Yeah.
No, and it was just, they wanted everybody I had to call bullshit so many times. I kicked one of the show managers off. I had
Really?
fun with that when I didn't like her and she's getting really mean. Well, you don't have to make that much money on this one. This is a good case. Let's just bring it in. I'm like, no, that's not
Right.
the idea. And she loved my boots. And I was getting ready. They told me I could can the showrunner if I wanted to. And I wasn't getting, so I bought her a pair of my boots.
Okay.
This is how manipulative I have fun when I don't like somebody. And she kept going, you don't need to do that. She was just acting like she owned the place.
Right.
So one day I had it, and I'm a cowgirl, so I have been known to use F-bomb very, very well. And I said,
You know how to use it.
my property right now. And she's like, I can't go. I said, yes, you will. I'll have the police down here. And here's your boots. So I gave her the boot.
Nice. I love it. Literally and figuratively.
Oh, and then they came the
Love that.
next day. It was just embarrassing. We had so many good cases that they would not follow through with. We had that
Really?
horse that was cribbing.
So they cut out a lot of stuff that they filmed that you
Yeah.
thought they should have shown.
Yeah, well, there's
Yeah.
this bad horse that was cribbing on one of the shows. We got to back up here, and the equine dentist here. Oh my God, the mouth! You should have seen it. My equine dentist is amazing. I've
Yeah.
tried to take teeth out on horses in hours, and she's like, "Boop, boop, boop. Here you
She
go."
pops them right out. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm there to do the chemicals and stuff. And the producer had well, the big main guy from that was running the show came up just to see how it was going. And he goes, why aren't we filming that? And I'm like, yeah, that's what I was asking. I'm like,
Right.
we had some
Right.
really good stuff. Oh, they had
Yeah.
me lined out to go to Anchorage and see like a bunch of animals down there that weren't even my patients. Oh,
Oh,
we're just gonna pretend.
just because they wanted that narrative that you traveled around, or what were they thinking?
I don't know. That's where I said, if
Yeah.
this is really reality, then you film it like it
Yeah.
is. You
Right.
know?
Right. Did good
Oh,
stuff come out of it? Like, did you get a lot of
oh,
publicity, or did anything good come out of the TV show?
well, it did. I had a lot of fun. And in fact, when we were doing the flying out, I only used to do that twice a year because we had to make our own money
Yeah,
and we'd
because
have
you were
spaghetti
flying
feed.
at the time, right? Because there's scenes
Yeah,
of
and
you
we
flying.
we
Yeah.
would go and do the village spay and neuter programs, but we'd do it twice a year because
Right.
that's all we could afford it because the natives would never pay for any of that. We had to do it on our own. So
All
we
free.
have
Yeah.
spaghetti feeds, auctions, get some money because it's
Nice.
expensive for that fuel.
Oh, I
Well, Animal
imagine.
Planet did let me go every 2 weeks and they paid for everything.
Oh, okay. So that was
That
a good
was
thing. So
really
a
good
lot of
thing.
good came out of that. Yeah.
Yeah. And and there is a lot of good people on the show.
Right.
That were ground zero with us.
Yeah.
But it was just never it was
Wasn't what you imagined it to be.
no, it's too Hollywood. It's,
Yeah.
you
Yeah. Too
know,
much production.
well, I don't know how actors can even be themselves because they play so many characters. It's like, who are they really? I mean, and
Do they
I
even
said,
know?
and this is not acting. And when they would say, oh, you know what, today, Dr. D, you're going to go out and we're going to put a gazebo. I had a beautiful round pen. They're going, you're going to pretend like you're putting in a gazebo and you're going to wear like a tank top and you're going to show your muscles off. And I'm like,
Really?
F bomb, F bomb, and up yours. You want to see where that claw
I'm
hammer,
not wearing a tank
where it
top. I
could go
love
up?
that. That's
And
hilarious.
yeah, I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. And you know what's funny? The same crew was on, oh God, it was the three guys out of Texas, the three black guys. They
Oh
had their
yeah, yeah, yeah.
they
Yeah.
had them build the gazebo.
Really?
And I could tell none of them were actors.
Like you
And I'm
knew
like,
it.
we were watching that show, and I'm like, oh my God. And I saw who was producing the show, and I'm like, oh, yeah. And they're out there, we're gonna build it. And I could see in the one guy's wife, the one veterinarian's wife was like, what are we doing this for? And I'm like, oh, they got suckered into
It's
it.
the same person. Yeah, that's hilarious. That's,
So yeah, it wasn't real. You know,
yeah,
I don't know. It was back down to tie it together. I wanted it to be a coaching thing. Like I've been through hell and back, but I don't mind that a little hot weather and I'm willing to do
right,
it because I set myself up for it. I own
right.
it. If you don't feel
Yeah,
good about what you're doing, then own it and figure out
right.
why you're
Yeah,
not feeling good. You can do this.
exactly.
It's really
Right.
easy.
Yeah,
Just
it's all
change your,
doable, right?
change your attitude.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good line. Change your attitude. That's something that would be helpful to say to yourself every once in a while, right?
Well, if
Change
you
your
feel the
attitude.
stress and if you're feeling something that's not stress, you're either looking at it wrong. I mean, come on, in the big picture, you go to all the school and go, I don't like the job. Come
Right.
on, why'd you get into it? Think
Yeah.
of
Well,
why
I
you
think
got
that's
into it.
I do that a lot with my clients is when they're feeling discouraged. I'm like, let's go back to when you really, really wanted to get into vet school and you really, really wanted to do this job. Why did we want to do it? Because that's where the gold is. It's like I wanted this job so badly. And now that I have it, I have my dream. Now I'm hating it. And so let's try to figure out where the disconnect is between those two things.
Well, and it is, you have to have confidence in what you do. So I really encourage veterinarians to make sure if you're just not comfortable in surgery, if you don't like it, then don't do medicine. But I mean, think of it. You've got this body. You have a knowledge on like 6 animals, 13 systems, 500 drugs that affect all those different things. And you
Right.
know how it works. It's like magic. You have this
Yes,
power at your hand.
it is.
You got to get to the humans. Yeah, you'll do it.
Yeah.
And that makes it more entertaining and it keeps you level-headed and being human too.
Humble,
But
right.
it's like such a magical thing. And I am just amazed when I get finished doing a surgery. Oh, I love it when I get bladder stones. We got one out about that big the other day.
They're
Like, oh my
prizes. I always say, oh, I love surgeries where you get prizes.
God, I know it's a treasure
That's
hunt.
why I love cystotomies. I love neuters, anything where you get a prize.
I know, I know. And it's not because we're girls, guys, that
No, no,
we
no, no, no. No,
yeah.
it's just when you come out of a surgery with something that you like took out, that to me is a prize. So I
Yeah.
always say that. I'm like, oh, I get to do a cystotomy. I get prizes today.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that I really liked when I got out, I mean, look at what we had to begin with, the digital x-rays now. Holy moly.
Yes, they're
And
so much
now I've got
better.
one of the new handheld ultrasounds. Oh, it's my magic wand. That's what I call
Yes.
it. It's magic.
Yeah.
Look at this. Wow. One
They're
guy
so
got
cool.
seasick the other day. I was doing it. He's going, oh, you're going too fast.
That is-
I can do it right in the exam room. I mean, who
Yeah.
else can do that? You're,
Yeah, that's amazing.
have fun with it.
Yeah. So
And if I try to
what
go
have
ahead.
I not asked you that I should?
Oh, I don't know. At my age.
They don't need to know that.
I know. I always tell people I'm 89.
And then they say, wow, you look great, right?
And that's what I like. That's what they do. Who on earth would
That's
say,
why you
oh,
do
I'm
it.
29 this year?
Right.
I tell
Exactly.
them I'm 89 and they look and they go, wow, you look good. I'm like, thank you. I know.
So is there like a favorite book or quote or veterinarian that you admire or like some kind of favorite thing that we could offer for inspiration to anybody out there that's listening to us today?
Well, I had a little thing that I had when I was first in vet, and I don't have it right here. It was whatever, I only pass this way once, so whatever good I can do it now because you may never be able to do it again.
Right. You
So
only have
live
today,
that.
right?
Humor is the oil in the engine of life. And if you
Yes,
can't
that was a
figure
good
out how
one.
to laugh at yourself once in a
Yes.
while, go
Yeah.
watch a funny movie.
Yeah. Is that an original? Did you make up humor is the oil or did someone else
Actually,
say that?
one of my girlfriends that never liked a snow machine, she was a mom and kind of a heavy set lady, and somehow they talked her into snow machining and she died. And somebody said that at her eulogy because
What?
she was so
Really?
funny.
Oh my
And
God.
we all knew her as such a funny person. And so I felt like that was yeah, I felt like that. I remember her for that because
Yeah.
it is. And it's fun. You
It's a
got to
great
laugh at
saying.
yourself.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
mean, come on.
for
If you can't
sure.
find
Can't be
something to
too
laugh
serious.
about yourself, don't change your job, change yourself.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Yeah. And
It's,
that's why that's why I do what I do because I want to help people change themselves. That's so cool. I love
yeah.
that.
Well, and
That's
I hope I can help somebody. And I'd be glad about the favorite
You
book right now.
absolutely will help someone by listening to all your stories and and your positive attitude and the fact that you're, so determined and you have so much tenacity and strength. I mean,
Well, you only have
that
one
will
life. I mean,
care
gotta
about
go out and live
someone.
it. I mean,
Yeah.
she who dies with the most stainless steel. Let's see, I got a stainless steel hip. I got two shoulders have been dislocated. I got
Is
shoulder bone
that it?
here.
Is
She,
the one that
ah,
has the most hardware in their body wins?
that's
I
right.
love that.
It means you used and abused it and had fun. Now,
Well,
think first. Don't ever plan that stuff.
yeah, for sure.
But
Well, I'm having a great time talking to you and I want to do this again. I think it would be really fun. And you're writing a book.
yes,
So
I
when your
am.
book is finished, maybe we can do this again and talk about your book. How
Yeah.
close are you to being finished with your book?
Well, it's gone into, I tried to condense it, but Grammarly couldn't do it enough because, I've worked in a couple different fields and one was political. I was a
Okay. Okay.
lobbyist
So you have some
secretary.
politics in your book.
Well, one of them is all about how I put three of the worst lobbyists in the state of Alaska. It was one of the biggest trials.
Oh,
And I
okay.
got on,
Yeah.
yeah, I caught them
Yeah.
because I was the
Oh,
secretary
oh, so you
for
busted
a big
people.
company. So I know how things work. So that really
Yeah.
aggravates.
Yeah.
And God, you guys, if you knew at the end of your life how many people you're going to ride through and see all the bad things you did, you're going to be in hell for a long time. You're going to have to relive all the people you touched
Yeah.
wrong,
Yeah.
and I don't want that. So, but there's a lot with that. And of course,
Okay.
that's school and when you're kids and
Oh, yeah.
it's all that stuff. And
So
then the
is it
last,
kind of your life story? Is that what the book is?
it started out as nonfiction. And the favorite book I just read was Stephen King's On Writing because I had to learn how to
Oh,
write better. A great book,
yes. Yeah,
really good
Stephen
book.
King. I used to read his books all the time when I was younger.
Yeah, and in reading his books, the editors from some of my books that I've read have said, don't put any of your divorces in there. You can do fiction with those in like a Stephen King kind of fashion. How's
Okay, so you can kind of clean it up a little bit. So it'll be kind of your life story, but a little bit fictionalized.
Well, no, it won't. The fiction won't be in there. I'll write a fiction book about them.
Oh, I see.
They'll
I
be
see.
lightly noted. Yeah,
Yeah.
this
And you'll
happened.
kind
Probably
of
don't want to
gloss.
do that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
learned.
excited.
Said I was sorry. We
And
didn't get along together.
when do you think you'll be done?
Well, the 18th of December, I'm pitching it for a movie, so I got to have it done by then.
Oh, lovely. That'll
So.
be fun. All right. Well, we'll definitely get together and talk about that. I want to hear all about how you turned your book into a movie. That's super cool.
Yeah, well, then we can have a contest because I'm not going to play. I don't act. I
Yeah,
said,
you need
who's going to
somebody.
play?
Who would play you? Who do you think you
I
would
have
choose?
no clue.
Yeah,
I
do you have
don't
an idea
know.
of who you'd like to play you?
No. Well,
No.
Gina Davis, if she was, I
Oh,
love
Gina
Gina Davis.
Davis. That'd be
I
cool.
love her.
Yeah.
I do love Kathy Bates too. That's my key thing. Should have bought a squirrel.
Should have bought a squirrel. I love that.
Whenever I want to tell somebody that I told you so, I just
Yeah.
go,
Yeah.
should have bought a squirrel. So
Well,
anyway, everybody go and have
let's
fun.
let's plan on getting together again at some point. I'm thrilled that you agreed to come on, and it's 4:30 well, it was 4:30 in the morning when we started where you are, and
Yeah.
8:30 in the morning where I am. So I really appreciate you getting up early to talk to me. But
Well,
tell
I get
people
up and
if they
write.
what's that?
I get
You
up and
right.
write. That's just when I
Yeah.
write. Yeah.
That's awesome. I think that's really ambitious and amazing that you do that.
What's
So
fun?
tell everyone if you're willing for anyone to contact you if they have a question, or they can contact me and I can contact you, where they might find you if you want them to.
Well, the clinic is the best place to call. Emails,
You're not a
I'm on
good
the computer
I
writing.
got to you through emailing your clinic, so that's how I found
Yeah.
you.
And you can call the clinic because then that's the best thing. And we're just going through this new phone system and just brand new computer system that,
Oh, that's always rough. Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
it's the age, but yeah, it's that 907-600-7500. That's
I
the
love
phone
it.
number and
Thank you so
or
much.
they can email. I get the emails eventually. There's
Okay.
something wrong with my computer right now. So I have 55,000 emails on my computer.
Oh, that's not fun. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened when they upgraded something and they've tried to get the junk mail, but yeah, every day there's
Kind of
like
stuff happens, doesn't
400.
it? When we don't expect.
I get
Well,
delete finger. I have to sit there and
yeah,
do this. It's like you can't just do them all because there's 2 out of 400 that you got to keep,
that you actually need to read. Yeah, I love
So
that. Well, this has been super fun. It's been so nice meeting you. I hope we're going to keep in touch and keep this relationship going. And I definitely want to have you back on when you write your book, or when you
oh
not
yeah, we'll have
write it,
fun.
but when it's done and it's getting ready to be made into a movie. That's super cool.
Yeah, and just fly the plane. You're a
Yeah,
plane.
fly the
Fly
plane.
the plane.
Yes, I love that.
Keep it the
That's great
same
advice.
level.
Yeah. Well, I so appreciate it. This is Dr. D, everyone. And send me some love on my email and tell me how much you enjoyed this conversation. And I really
And if you
appreciate
don't
you
like
tuning
prong
in.
collars, I'm sorry. You can go on Facebook and bitch. Oh my God, I get so much
No,
flack.
nobody's going to send hate. It's okay. It's all okay.
I can handle it.
Yeah, you can. You're tough.
I'll know who got their toes burned by their wives or husbands that day.
There you go. Whoever had a
That's
bad day, those are the ones that are going to throw hate at us, right?
right. And we will forgive them and try and laugh at them.
Exactly. Yeah, because we love people.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful week, everyone. Thank you for listening. And we'll get Dr. D on here again. Thank you so
Have
much, Dr.
fun.
D. Yeah. Bye, everyone.